It does not have to be a new year, a new you. It just has to be a healthier you in the new year, you guys. Make sure you check down below in the description box where you can find the links to TLC products, including the ISOT, the NutriBurst, the Life Drops, the Resolution Drops. There's just so many things there to help you in burning fat and staying healthy. There's even the new Immune Tea, which I'm going to order. So I can't wait to try that. And I hope they get the sea moss back. But I do love the sea moss from Mint and Ocean. I'm sorry, it's supposed to be a commercial. Yes, okay? Get those TLC products from me. And do not forget that my biggest life change has been through Kiara LASHAE, Team LASHAE, ifyoucanmove.com. You guys get cute little outfits from Peja and Amari. You also check out Just Move supplements because she is helping us with the energy. Okay, this is the energy supplement. Love it. Okay, just got my protein. Gonna get me some after I work out. So yeah, y'all, down below in the description box, support. So you guys are always asking me where I get my glasses from. So I thought I would finally give y'all a real little ad, okay? Firmoo, I can't see, bitch. Okay, I'm just playing. I'm just joking. These are my new Firmoo glasses here. Super cute, right? They are prescription because I'm like totally blind. And I got these matte ones that I think are really dope. And I felt like they would go good with the fact that I no longer have hair. You know what I'm saying? But either way, you guys can use my link and give me credit and get you some glasses from Firmoo. Come on in. Sorry, y'all. Y'all know I'm weird. Whatever.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl Bondi Blue. Let's go ahead. Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl Bondi Blue. Okay, follow me on Instagram and let's get into the video, right?
Hey y'all. What's up? How's everybody doing? You guys. Pushing it to the limit. Hey everybody. Happy Monday. I hope y'all are having a good day. I'm coming to y'all. Listen, I'm trying to get the videos out earlier in the day. You know what I'm saying? As for better Wi-Fi performance and things of this nature. But I was not planning for Iyanla Fix My Life to be 2 hours long. I wasn't. So I'm a little behind. But not for you guys. For you guys, I'm here on time. So, it's great. But ultimately, can I get the thumbs up? You can hear me. You can see me. I'm messing with you because my bars are low. So I'm just trying to make sure that everything is cool. Okay, listen, I'm gonna wait. You look super tan. Well, I spend a lot of time outside nowadays. This is usually what my skin tone looks like in the summertime because I would be outside, especially when I was working. It's just when you're inside, you're not getting a lot of vitamin D. Well, not that kind of vitamin D. But anyway, I have notes for Iyanla Fix My Life, and I also have screenshots. Just kind of giving everybody a chance to come in and let me know that they can hear me and see me well enough. All right, I got a thumbs up. I got one of these A-OKs. I hope everybody's doing well. I'll say that again. All right, okay. So I'll be doing Real Housewives of Atlanta after this, okay? Hopefully I don't have to push the time back, but we'll just see, all right? I don't want to waste any more time. Let's go ahead and get into Iyanla Fix My Life. Okay, I'm going to shift here. And Kiki shepherd the situation. Okay, this is what we have. Okay, so this episode was unfinished business, in case y'all did not know. Okay, and the unfinished business was with this family that really reminded me of my own in a way, specifically with the father being somewhat of an angry, functioning alcoholic. I know about such things, great people just weren't raised right all the time. They thought they were, but sometimes they just really weren't. I blame the man, but that's not the point. So the twins weren't there, y'all. Last time there were two bad girl club type twins. Hey, Quaisha, thank you for the super chat, love. Is it just me or the twins? If anybody else saw the first time they were on Iyanla, okay, the twins were very bad girl club-ish until Ashley, right here. My favorite part of that episode to this day is Ashley getting into both of the twin sisters' faces real close like this. And she was like, I will dog walk the both of you bitches. Try me. And it was like, so. you know they both think got beat up by her before. If they like, so. I'm sorry, y'all. I had to mention it. I had to bring it back to that moment because they played it in the preview. Oh. Y'all, shout out to Lyric for the coffee. I really need to put him on the payroll just for making drinks. But anyway, y'all. Ashley is the black sheep of the family, no matter how much I might love her aggression. Black sheep, come on. Black sheep, come on. Black sheep, come on. If y'all don't know that song, don't worry about it. All right, I'm sorry. Jamil is the wife. She realizes now, after being on Iyanla the first time, that she is very codependent on her husband, which is why she has not changed the situation for herself. Okay. Iyanla tapped on some things the first time around, made some things, obvious to them that really weren't at the beginning, about the pathology of the entire family, from the grandmother all the way down to the youngest grandbaby, like, and probably to the grandbabies, to Ashley's kids, because we talked about how, eventually we'll get into Ashley having issues with her own daughter, because of the way she tried to offset her own abandonment issues. Everybody has abandonment issues. Everybody has warped sense of what love is and what that should look like. And it was just crazy how hard it was to watch this episode without crying. Like, I was halfway through. Like I said, I didn't know it was gonna be 2 hours. And I go outside, and Lyric is supposed to be doing stuff outside. And I'm like, Lyric, I need you to come back inside for a moment and make me some coffee and shit. Because like this has got my throat all fucked up. I'm trying not to cry. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, it was a really good episode if you have not seen it. Okay. But yes, Jordan is here. Jordan is the youngest son. And if he don't get his life together, he's going to end up in jail or prison or dead. And it's not even about living some lifestyle, of fighting or gangs and all of that. But his energy is hella aggressive. And if whenever you can't get your way, you explode like this at 17 years old, you have no fucking cool. That's not emotional detachment and fake indifference, because there's like a smoldering anger no matter how many times you claim that you don't care. So I feel like with that type of anger, you're going to bump into somebody at the fucking club and get shot. You know what I'm saying? Because of the angry energy that you give off. Thank you so much for the super sticker, baby hustler. So yeah, he says he's there just for the check of it all. And I was just kind of like, sir, you need so much more than a check. And I want to explain something to people. Y'all, I love a good check now. A bitch loves her a good check, okay? Good access to better shit, okay? I love expensive dinners. I love renovating houses. Like, I haven't even done it yet, and I know I love it. But what I'm saying is, a bitch like me like to spend money too, so I get it. I get the love of money, But I think ultimately people should always understand that life and the overall essence of life is more important than money. Meaning, if you are in some way going to make your life harder because you don't want to listen, the money is like weightless paper or something like that. Like it means absolutely nothing if you exchange it for shit that doesn't have monetary value. So what I mean by that is you come on the show for the check and you pay no attention to the emotional growth that you need in your life, period, at this point, young man. And you get out there in the world, and no matter how much money is in your pocket, it does not change that you are an angry young black man walking around in a world that is looking for a reason to victimize you. You need to get your anger under control. And that's just what it is. I'm scared for him because he can't control himself. I'm scared for him because in the room with Iyanla Van Zant, you thought the response of suck my dick was appropriate at the same time as trying to hold back tears. Tears. Sir, I don't know who you think you're coming off hard to, but you're not coming off hard to nobody that's grown. I'm just scared for you at the end of the day. Okay? So the youngest daughter, y'all, the little young cute one, this one right here, Jaden, little cute little Jaden, okay, with her nice wig applique. She may not be as violent, but she's manipulative, and that can be just as dangerous. That can be just as dangerous if you have also been taught how to deal with your issues with violence. You know what I'm saying? Because ultimately, it will affect how healthy all of your relationships are. Your friendships, your relationships with men, like, you know, even how you are on a job. You know what I'm saying? Everything about their family makes me feel like if I don't feel like dealing with something, then fuck it. And there's a level of that translates to your lack of responsibility in life. Okay, not to say that means you're not gonna, you know, be able to be successful. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying there's a level of anger that they have not learned yet how to get under control. So when they get out into the real world, it is going to be hard for them if they can't get themselves together. Because in the real world, on somebody's job, somebody is going to piss you off, make you feel uncomfortable, or put you in a space where it's like, I don't want to do that. And you are going to then miss out on opportunities, miss out on what you wanted, which was the check, because you feel like you shouldn't have to deal with things that make you uncomfortable or even make you feel, you know, away, however that might be. So that running mentality, because that's basically what y'all do. Y'all don't like shit, so y'all run. Okay, but y'all explode, then y'all run. Okay, child, that shit was crazy. But the Jaden one, you know, that's something she may not, you know, she may not have the same blow up situation, but she definitely could come at you in a way I feel like you wouldn't want to be this bitch coworker. You know what I'm saying? You would probably be at the job like, oh my God. Oh, I went to school with her, very sweet girl. Oh, okay, cool. I'm glad you said that. Because I get that vibe too. I get that she's sweet, but there's a part of her that makes me feel like people with that grow up with that type of violence around them are like, what, like sleeping dogs or something like that. I'm trying to think of the analogy for when somebody is all sweet and good until they are not. And then it's like stab, stab, stab. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm saying like she has to get a hold of herself because she doesn't want to be that. And I think that people see her brother and her so differently. But as a woman, I kind of recognize how that shows up differently, but it's not that different. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it'd be the quiet before the ticking time bombs. Yes, come on, y'all, be here with me because y'all are. Okay, let's move on to another person that's an issue. Grandma. Where grandma at? Grandma right here. Okay, Grandma Dorothy. Grandma Dorothy is the head of the snake. Okay. And I mentioned before in episodes of Iyanla how I feel like when Iyanla is calling people the queen mother and, you know, addressing them in a way so that they understand their stature, it is so that they can pull themselves up and act accordingly. When you think you slumming it, when you think you scum of the earth, when you think you a bad person, when you feel bad about yourself in general, there's a standard that you don't have for yourself. So there aren't any boundaries that you won't cross. Okay. So once you realize who you are and how you should be handling yourself as this person in this family, this grandmother, this matriarch in this family. If you understand who you are, then you need to understand what your energy is for your grandkids and for your kids and how that affects them. And what I mean by that is, I feel like my grandmother was one of those grandmothers that cursed everybody out. You might be a little bitch, depending on your attitude. You know what I'm saying? She was ignorant in a way that I understand, but there was also a lot of love. And I also felt like my grandmother set a standard for us as far as how everybody should handle their family. The kids go first. All your bullshit is put aside. Okay, you take care of the family. Like, that was something that was instilled in our family, and to love everybody equally. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody felt like they was a favorite. You know, I've talked about the whole thing about, you know, how colorism wasn't really a thing in my family because my grandmother just loved, you know, if you were a favorite, it had nothing to do with your skin tone. It had to do with if you was one of them good, sweet children that she could just have there with you, and you ain't have to be, you know, you ain't do all that extra shit. I was one of them good kids that could just sit and be quiet. So a lot of people like to have me because I would just sit and be quiet and just watch and peep. Surprise, surprise. I mean, I'm talkative, but ultimately, like, I understand now, like, my cousins and stuff spend a lot of time with me, not just because they're, you know, great, but also because I was easy to take anywhere with you because I knew how to act. Okay. So that's important. But like, when I look back on it, my grandmother poured into me. My grandmother potty trained me. My grandmother, you know, set me down with coffee, bread, and butter. Yes, it's not the best thing for your grandchildren to be drinking coffee, bread, and butter at like 6. But ultimately, it was probably mostly milk and sugar. Okay. But she spent time with us and she poured into us. And it wasn't just me. You know, all my cousins would be at my grandmother's house on weekdays when we were all really young before we started school. And then sometimes after school, you know, they would come over and we would all be together. So like, we were close knit, like, because of our grandmother being like a epicenter in our family. So I feel like even if you are that curse everybody out grandmother, there is a level of respect that you should command in your family. And that shouldn't be with like passive aggressiveness. It shouldn't be with like anger, you know, and not in this way. You know what I'm saying? That grandmother got some shit with her. And when Iyanla broke it down, bitch, my head almost exploded. Because I was like, oh, wow, that's crazy. That the reason why grandma is acting like this is because she sees herself. Hey, Jay Lee. She sees herself as the other woman, like as her son's woman. And she sees his wife, Jamil, as the other woman. And I was like, like, I had no idea. I wasn't even thinking about it like that. Okay. I did understand, however, making your son responsible for you and for the family in a way that he should not have been, because I felt like that about my dad too. I felt like my dad had to take a lot of responsibility at a young age and was really only allowed to be a kid when he was with his grandfather. And after that, you know, most of the attention went to his younger sibling or work. You know, middle to lower class Black people work hard, especially, you know, 50s and 60s and all of that type of shit. And the anger you deal with out in the world from white people, you bring that shit home to your wife and your kids. It's just how it happens. You know what I'm saying? So we all, you know, we drink. Like, that's what people do. So I understand the daddy. Okay. I really, really do. And I'm so glad that the last time he was on Iyanla, it really helped him understand his own issues and how it goes all the way back to him being a 14-year-old child, you know, that felt like he was supposed to be like a parent. Like, he felt like he was supposed to be the man of the house because there was no man of the house. And then his mom goes and finds a man and brings that man in, marries that man, and tells her son, you can't come with us to the new house that we're moving into. And so he had to go and sleep in his car. This is the same son that went out in the streets and beat the shit out of one of her boyfriends because he stole from their house. Okay. The boyfriend put a gun on him So he went and found him after that and beat him within an inch of his life. Ended up having to go to like reform school, juvie. Okay. Years later, he hustling to help take care of his mom and all of that. So that means he's selling drugs and she taking the money and she know what he doing. That shit not cool neither. I'm never okay with that, y'all. I always feel like people be trying to act like niggas, grandmothers and mamas, you know, be sweet old ladies, but they taking drug money from they grandkids and shit. And then when they get in trouble, you acting like you don't know what he was doing. At the end of the day, I get it, but I never felt like it should be okay for parents or grandparents to make it okay for their kids to go out there and put themselves in harm's way for some fucking money. And that's something they decide to do on their own, fine. But you're not supposed to take the money from them. But Iyanla said the mama taking the money from him in that way made him her man and not her son. So when Jamil came into the situation, okay, as a wife, not as somebody that he just got pregnant, not as somebody that was on drugs, because a lot of, you know, the other baby mamas, the twins and Lil Mark and Ashley's moms, I believe, were on drugs. Okay. So that was the reason why he had to take responsibility for them in the first place. And y'all, when he explained, child, the difference between raising them back then and raising the two youngest ones over here, when I tell y'all I understood that it was so similar to a conversation that me and my sister had one time. And, you know, I remember when we had that conversation, she was so upset and I didn't understand why. You know what I'm saying? I at least understand why it was towards me. But I understand just the frustration of me not being aware of what it was like for her versus what it was like for me. But I also feel like that was an assumption she was making as well, because you were not in the household with us. But I do understand that when you have a younger, you know, angry, drinking ass daddy, they be about that shit, bruh. They be about that shit in a way that they really shouldn't be. They be about, you know, yoking you up and embarrassing you and, you know, just doing the most when they trying to prove a point. And when they realize they done fucked up, as they get older, they have younger kids and they try to like fix it and change it and not do that same thing that they did before. But it makes the older children resent the younger children because they feel like you got a better version of him, when really ain't got nothing to do with me. Ain't got nothing to do with me. It had to do with him deciding that things needed to be slightly different and his ass getting too old to continue to want to yoke people up. You know what I'm saying? I think eventually when you get older, you just feel differently about those things. Lil Mark, y'all. So Lil Mark is the oldest son that isn't there. Okay. He was brought in through video chat. We did not see him the first time. But he basically said, our whole family is a bunch of functioning, angry ass alcoholics. And I was just like, I know these people. I know these people. And there's a level of that annoyed me with Lil Mark, because I was like, Lil Mark, when are you going to stop making your father responsible for your mistakes? Even though Mark needed to say everything he said to his son. Everything that was said and done on Mark's part was what he needed to do. Okay. And I'm so glad that he was so willing to do it. But at some point, Lil Mark gonna have to take responsibility for himself. Because I don't like when people recognize their pathology and still do it anyway, as if they no longer have responsibility in what they're doing because it's what my dad did. It's what he instilled in me. You know what I'm saying? No. At some point when you know better, you have to do better after that. Okay? Just saying. We'll go back to Lil Mark in a second. Hold up, y'all. No, lip gloss is rubbing off. Like the video. Do that for me, please. Like the video. So Iyanla talks to Dorothy, okay, about the comment she made about disliking Jaden on the last episode that we saw them. And Dorothy is apologetic. You know, she does feel like that was messed up of her to say as Jaden's grandmother. And we realize that it's all because of how Dorothy feels about Jamil. Dorothy sees Jamil as the other woman, therefore treats her daughter, you know, in a way that is, mostly indicative of their relationship and not really the relationship between she and her grandchild. But she feels like that's the child of the other woman more so than that's my grandchild. And I'm like, bitch, that's insane. Oh, bitch, you crazy. Okay. Like I just felt so annoyed. But I also understood that Miss Dorothy has never been poured into, and age does not mean wisdom all the time. It doesn't. We talked about Dorothy making Mark her man, and when she got another man, she replaced him. Dorothy didn't realize her position and how she isn't living up to who she could be for her family. She got emotional and she started to cry when Iyanla was referring to her as the queen mother. And I told y'all about that. It is a way to make people realize they are not standing in the shoes that they really should be at this point in their life, because there are so many people that are retarded emotionally and stunted in their growth. And instead of recognizing that there needs to be like improvement as time goes on, they get set in their ways. And you do yourself and your family, a disservice, because at the end of the day, it starts with you. You being fucked up, fucked him up. Him being fucked up, fucked the kids up. The kids being fucked up, gonna fuck the grandkids up. Like, so you have to be willing to see your fault in it, even as an older person. You know what I'm saying? And older people really got to get out of that mindset of feeling like there's nothing left to be learned, because that's some ignorant shit. Getting old does not mean there's nothing left to be earned. My mom and them have always told me, you have something to learn every day of your life until the day you die, because nobody knows what it's like to die until they die. So even then, bitch, you learn something today. Okay. So ultimately, Miss Dorothy has come with a difference in attitude. And now that Iyanla is giving her the understanding that she didn't have, she can make the appropriate changes. And I think we saw that throughout the episode, and that really made it even harder to not cry throughout this whole episode, child. We're going to get into it. So Iyanla FaceTimes with Lil Mark, and Dorothy listens. Lil Mark was mad that Jamil came into their lives and he had to basically move around. So one day he comes inside, Jamil is sitting there, and Lil Mark doesn't acknowledge her. And the daddy said, did you not speak to her when you came in his house? And he was like, no, I didn't speak to her. So being the ignorant, angry daddy, what do? You have the over response of slapping your son and knocking him down some stairs and then throwing his ass on the sofa because you're trying to get it in his mind who's the man here and how he needs to be respectful of the household. Now, here's the thing. That's one way to handle it that probably won't work. What he should have done is said, son, let me explain something to you. I understand that this isn't the easiest thing for you right now, and it's something that we have to get used to, but Jamil is still an adult and she's my wife, and I need for you to respect her like you would any older person when you come into a room and you speak. That's what you are supposed to do. Period, point blank. You know what I'm saying? It could have just been a conversation. A lot of things don't need to go to this level, but I think daddies think, and this is my thing for angry black daddies, my own included, I feel like they had to like take the extreme response with things so that eventually you would learn to like not do them, because it's like, I already know he's going to overreact to this, so let me not even do that. You know what I'm saying? My daddy would overreact to things so that I learned not to even try him, not to even like attempt to try him. And because I'm not a man, so I'm never going to chest up to my 6'3", 200 and some odd pound daddy. You know what I'm saying? It was never going to be that. Okay. So what was my response? I'm going to get my shit and I'm going to get out of your space. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to pack my shit and I'm going to find my own place. I'm going to pay my own way. That was also his way of forcing you to be responsible, was to make it uncomfortable for you in his house. Whole bunch of mind games, boy, I tell you. But it's funny to me because, you know, I felt like my dad also had some smart to his shit. It wasn't always physical because he did not have to be physical with me all the time. But there were times when he was that he did not have to be. And I think it's because they feel the need to over respond so that you will learn. And I feel like at the end of the day, I can't say it didn't work, but it created an anxiety in me that was unnecessary. You know what I'm saying? Thank you so much for the super chat, Ashley Woods. But yes, that scarred Lil Mark for life. Okay, I'm not trying to be funny about it because there are things that my dad did that scarred me for life as well when it comes to overreacting and the anger and then making your kid like a nervous wreck to the point that they have to try to lull the anxiety that comes automatically now. Back when I was younger, I would have to get in trouble or something would have to, happen, or, the energy in the house would shift. My sister would do so, like something would have to prompt my anxiety as a child. And then I got in high school and started to realize I had anxiety because of Xavier Prep. But it was also an extension of my family and, how relationships and people handle shit very volatile around me all the time. Like, being physical, being angry, that was a response to shit all the time, y'all. To the point where I feel like before I even got into my 20s, I was tired of being mad about shit. I don't want to be angry. Like, I'm tired. I don't want to be angry. Like, I'm not one of those people that enjoys being mad about shit because I'm tired, because I had to, move around that so much as a child. So I definitely understood Lil Mark feeling like he needed to take himself out of the situation before it escalated further between him and his father. Because between a son and father, he's going through a space of trying to prove himself as a man, even without the father making him feel less than. So at some point, he's going to have to prove a point, because what have you been doing this whole time? Overreacting to prove a point. So this is what you taught him. So eventually he's going to have to react in that way. Child, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I always take it back to the fact that Black people have been abused in this society to such a great level that we don't exactly know how to handle things without violence or anger, because nobody has actually taught us that, because everybody responds to us with violence and anger. Like, I don't understand how everybody expects Black people to fix that. That's why I guess it's so upsetting for me when people do, especially other Black people, do that angry Black woman trope, as if we don't have a reason for why we are the way we are. We have a fucking good reason for why we are the way we are. We are constantly and repeatedly put in spaces where we are reminded we're not equal and our lives are not as valued or safe, even in societies that we give to in such a way. I feel like there's a part of us that, because we can't handle the racism, we have to be able to handle something. We have to be able to be in control of something. And I think a lot of us take the anger and the violence towards us, internalize it, and then put it out on each other. And it's because nobody has taught us how to do anything different. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's us having to unlearn a lot of the things that have been put into us as Black people. You know what I'm saying? But you have to take the good with the bad as well. All of the pain and all of the trauma and everything, y'all can stop now. We good. But ultimately, it is what makes everything we do so fucking extra, and so on point and so emotionally captivating and so swagged out and so attractive. Like, everything that is great about us is not always from the pain, but it's the way we always are able to move around it. And we don't really need to be moving around shit no more. You know what I'm saying? So it's cool for us to be great and all of that. But how about y'all let us be great without the trauma? Let's see what we can do then. The fuck? We might actually be able to see Black people fly if y'all would stop beating us down. Okay? Lord have mercy. Anyway, Iyanla brings Dorothy in, and she comes in and tells Mark that she understands how she messed up with him and they need to all fix this. But it lets him know that she's on the same vein as he is. Whatever I need to do, we need to fix it. You know what I'm saying? Iyanla brings the kids in to talk to Lil Mark, and Jaden and Jordan have the most insane response to Lil Mark saying, I left the house because I was either going to kill daddy or he was going to kill me, but I needed to get out and away from that. And the thing that I don't understand is why you can't still have a conversation with your brother, why you still can't have some type of relationship with your brother that doesn't include your father if everybody is of certain age. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like you still could have called, you still could have answered his phone calls. There did not have to be a separation from your siblings because you needed to separate from your father. That was you running. That was a part of the abandonment that you've been taught, okay? But Lil Mark felt abandoned by Ashley when Ashley left the house. And I think that's because everybody misunderstands what the true boundaries of relationships are. Ultimately, I do believe that the parents created that energy. They shouldn't have had to feel like their siblings were leaving them just because they were getting older and getting out of the fucking house. That's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to get older and get out of the house. But that also doesn't mean that the relationships have to be broken as a response to that. So I definitely feel like Mark and Jamil were so wrapped up in their own shit that they could not pay attention to their kids. They really didn't. And that's unfortunate, to grow up in a two-parent household and still have the issues of having your parents abandon you in some way just by emotionally and mentally not being available for you. That is fucked up. When Lil Mark expresses himself about what he's gone through and trying to get away, Jordan gets so upset. So did Jaden, but Jaden started to cry. Ashley is so upset because Ashley is trying to make them understand that it's selfish for them to be upset at him because he needed to do what he needed to do for himself. Okay, which it is. It is. Y'all should not feel like, Lil Mark, leaving the household was abandonment. But like I said, I think it all stems from the parents. They weren't available, so it felt like somebody else is leaving because these two motherfuckers ain't really here. Thank you, Devin Marks, for the super chat. Hold up. What you said? I didn't feel like Lil Mark extended his heart to the siblings. He wasn't acknowledging that they're still hurt, that you don't communicate with them. Jordan said he hasn't spoken to him since 2007. Yeah, I felt that same way. That I don't understand why you couldn't communicate. But like I said, he needed to run because that's what everybody does. Everybody just runs. So that's what they do. And that's what he did. And when Jordan could not handle his emotions, he says, fuck you, suck my dick, pushes Iyanla off of him because she was trying to comfort him in that moment. He jumps up, runs outside, runs through like 4 or 5 big ass men and proceeds to run out onto the street and onto the sidewalk and into traffic, I'm guessing. I was just kind of like, son is tripping. Son is on one. Son is doing a lot. Y'all gonna have to get that little nigga under control, man. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is get him the help he needs so he can start to control himself. Because Jordan's response to Lil Mark was way too much for me. Like, really? But I do understand, why can't you admit that you were just running? Why are you trying to make it seem like you couldn't talk to me? You know what I'm saying? Lil Mark says that they will never experience it the way he did. And that's when I was talking about, like, my older sister said the same thing to me. And there was a lack of that same, you know what I'm saying, compassion for whatever I may have been going through with him because of what she felt she went through in comparison. You know what I'm saying? So I totally understood this moment. And in all honesty, their conversation wasn't as bad as I felt mine was. I wanted to cry. Okay? And even though that was also their response, I felt like he wasn't coming at them in a way that was, like, it wasn't the same thing to me. It didn't have the same anger. So it was just, I need y'all to understand why I did what I did. You know what I'm saying? But there wasn't anger towards his siblings. I felt like there was anger towards me when this same conversation, was had in my family. So I definitely was trying not to cry. Okay, nigga was trying not to cry, boy. I tell you, it was hard, y'all. That lump was heavy in my throat most of this episode, okay? But when Lil Mark said he tried to hang himself to his daddy, they brought his daddy, and set him down in front of video, the FaceTime. And he said, I tried to hang myself because I just did not understand, what did I do What about me made you not love me enough to not treat me in that way? What did I do to deserve that treatment from you? Y'all, when he was saying that shit, I was like, oh my God, I cannot take this. And at first, I thought Mark was being unemotional, but I think he was trying to be strong and not break down in the moment, as to not make his son responsible for his emotions the way he had been made to feel responsible for his mother's emotions. So he just, he sat in it. And he responded and told him no, he didn't deserve it, and that he didn't know any better. And when he realized he had done wrong with Lil Mark, he tried to fix it with Jordan and Jaden. But then at the same time, there's a detachment that was happening. You know what I'm saying? So you weren't even really being present, because you're still getting drunk and you still being an angry father, even if you're not doing it to the degree that you did it with Lil Mark, but it hasn't really been fixed. But I still feel like, like I said before, that's what they do. They realize they fucked up with their older kids and try to fix it with the younger ones without ever going back to rectify or have conversations or apologize for what you did to your older kids. And that's because older parents never feel like they owe their children apologies. I feel like if you fucked up, you need to be able to teach your children the lesson of being able to apologize and still holding respect. Because just because I admit that I am wrong in a situation with my child does not mean they get to disrespect me. Two things can be true at the same time. I may have been wrong and I apologize for that. And my apology is deserving of your respect because I'm your parent. You know what I'm saying? And because I still take care of you. You know what I mean? But not in like no fucked up way, y'all. I just mean like when, you get into it with your parents over something and they might have said something or, did something or ran off the deep end, whatever. You know how you can get into it with your parents just over the littlest shit and they will never come back and apologize for fucking up. And I mean, when you're young. As an adult, I think you definitely need to be able to talk to your adult children and apologize for the shit that you fucked up on. Because at this point, everybody's an adult. So the relationship has to change anyway. You're no longer responsible for them in the same way. So the apology needs to happen at some point so that they will know that their feelings at some point mattered. But I do think sometimes parents fear apologizing to their kids when they do something fucked up because they're scared that means their children are going to then feel like they can hold shit over their head. Like, I don't have to listen to you because, you was wrong when you did this. Like admitting that you're wrong means that your kids don't have to respect you, But I think you should definitely be able to show your kids that you can correct mistakes. And a part of correcting mistakes is apologizing, my nigga. It is what it is, okay? But Mark tells Lil Mark that he loves him and he didn't deserve that and he's sorry. And I was about to burst into tears. I mean, at this point, I was definitely crying. Iyanla talks to Jordan and he thinks that he doesn't care. And Iyanla brings up to him him saying, suck my dick and all of that, and how he has a lack of self-control. And she explains that he has all the same issues as the rest of his family. You are no different than your father, even though you think you're going to be. You don't have the tools, and you think you do and you don't. And she says she will have a conversation with him off camera with no microphone so that he can actually gain something from the situation because he doesn't feel safe. When she did that, I was very happy. I was very happy because you can tell that he's probably acting out because the cameras are there. So them having a conversation without it meant we have to have a real conversation. So Mark talks to Iyanla about the history of violence. And I told y'all about that. At 14, he beats up dude. At 17, he got jumped and he cut somebody's face and ended up having to go to jail. You know what I'm saying? But he felt responsible for making money. The part that broke my heart was that I feel like when he said he had slit dude's face and when he said he hustled, he downplayed it. And I think he downplayed it for the right reasons. And I think he should have. But a piece of me feels like that man had to give up something in his spirit to be the man he felt like his mother wanted him to be. And he did all of that for her. And then she turned around and traded him in for another man. and then told him that he couldn't come with her. And then that forced him to live in his car. So he's given up so much for you that he shouldn't have had to give up as your child. And then you turn around and just throw him asunder. Like it would have broke my heart. Like, y'all, it definitely broke my damn heart. Dorothy was listening the whole time, and they talk about her not raising Mark because no one raised her. And we know that's usually the situation. Ashley talks to Iyanla about being the black sheep, and she talks about her mom being on drugs and having no food in the house, and how they would go to the store and steal, she and Lil Mark, when they were younger, in order to eat, because she said it'd be 2 weeks at a time when we didn't have food. And I think that's before the daddy realized what was really going on and before he went and got them. But the thing that killed me was she had all this compassion for her mom, because she said she felt love from her mom that she didn't feel from her dad. And I'm like, even though I understand that to a certain degree, if one parent is a disciplinarian and one parent handles everything with anger and it's harder to deal with, you don't perceive that as love. But the truth of the matter is, how can you say somebody love you if they did not make sure that you were fed? How were you shown love from somebody when they would let you starve? You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand that there have been conversations. I didn't say he killed somebody, but I definitely feel like the way he was talking about his life, there was something like that. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said he took something. Like he did a lot, and it took from him in a way that he will never be able to get back. You know, men who do things like that when they really don't want to, but they feel like they are being put in that situation, that shit eat at them. It eats at them when they have to do things like that. And alcohol, women, drugs, whatever, you know, you choose, helps to lull that guilt and that pain. And I think that, you know, it shows up the way it shows up when you don't really deal with it, you know. But Ashley talks about her relationship with her oldest daughter. Her oldest daughter, she really held on tight to. And now the little girl is acting out, fighting, acting a fool, don't want to listen to nobody. I mean, she's acting like everybody else in her family, but it's doing her a disservice. You know, like I said, it can fuck your life up just like it can fuck little Jordan life up. You know, being an angry black woman is not always a good thing either, because you will eventually be somebody's angry black mama or somebody's angry black wife, you know, and you're going to be instilling what in your kids? Being fucking angry. Get that together. Stop being so damn angry. Stop handling everything with anger, you know? But that's something she has to teach to her child. You know what I'm saying? Ashley, because Ashley is now having to counteract her smothering her daughter in order to make up for her mom not being there. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's working out their issues, and it's almost like there's no balance. Not almost, there is no balance. You're trying so hard to make up for your mom not being there at all that you smothered your daughter to the point that now it's like, if you don't get off of me, I'm going to blow up. You know, and that's how kids be. Iyanla talks to Jamil about Jordan and, you know, the whole sucking of the dick comment. And Jamil told him that when he gets angry like that, he needs to remove himself from the situation, which is why he ran, but he exploded first. Okay. So yeah, they need to rectify that situation for sure. Iyanla talks to Jamil about how she's the other woman with Dorothy. And she says, it's funny you say that, because the day me and Mark got married, Dorothy told me that if he wasn't her son, she would marry him. Bitch, have you lost your old ass mind? Why would you say that to, to your daughter-in-law? Why would you do that? Jamil is tired of fighting the old lady, and I'm not mad at her for it, okay? Y'all, this baking session, this was really when I cried. This is really when I cried. I'm going to tell you something. It's not that Jamil doesn't have a backbone. That's not what it is. When she said I wasn't in my body, it means that she's completely detached. She's not there, okay? The baking session was incredible to me because, first of all, I had never seen anything like it. So basically, Jamil lays down and they like swaddle her, like wrap her up in sheets. And a whole bunch of other sister women come in and they put their feet up against her body because you transmit healing energy through your feet. Reflexology, I think it's like, everything ever centers your feet. Anyway, I don't understand it, so I'm not gonna pretend like I do. But they breathe with her, transference of energy, pouring into her positively. I'm sure they think about light and happy things and the breakthroughs they themselves have had, because all of these women have been in her position before. So whatever breakthrough they had, I think that they take that and they try to like impart that on her. And after, each of them will come up to her and whisper their prayer for her in her ear, and then they would leave the circle. The last person to do it was Dorothy. Dorothy, Jaden, and Ashley were all there watching as this was happening. And I'm trying not to cry right now because it was so emotional. And she comes over and she apologizes to Jamil and says that she's sorry for not knowing any better. Okay? Kissed her and then went over to the baby Jaden and apologized to her and told her she was sorry. But when Iyanla held Dorothy, the breakdown that was happening in that moment, that shit, like, oh my God. And when Iyanla said at the beginning, you won't be a part of it, but you can get the healing from it. This is what she was talking about. Because for me, just watching this shit was just like, oh my God. Like, it definitely helped. Like, you can tell that after Jamil felt differently, even the way she was like sitting there and looking in her eyes, like she was definitely present in her body and she hadn't been. And y'all, I can't tell you how important it is for you to be present in your body. That's why I like working out so much now, because that's what it feels like for me. I put my fucking music on and I am present in my body. I'm not thinking about nothing else but what I got to do in these reps. Okay. Which allows for you to clear your mind and in return, clear your emotions. Okay. Which is why I always like to be outside, because it's something about it that lifts me even more. You know what I'm saying? And plus all my endorphins be running, and then I'm getting the vitamin D as well. And I told y'all the tan. Okay. Listen, I got to tan, need the sun. Okay. Anyway, y'all, it was just a beautiful, beautiful moment. And it helped Jamil. I really feel like you could just tell that it did, child. It was so hard for me not to, like, I was just crying, child. Anyway, I think it might have been a whole family at this point, or maybe it was just Mark and Miss Dorothy, but they sat down and talked about when Dorothy married Jimmy, how she told Mark, I told y'all about that already, about how she told Mark he couldn't move into the house with them and he felt betrayed and it was heartbreaking for him, And then Dorothy cried when he told her he was going to marry Jamil. And he was like, this is a happy thing. Why are you crying like I'm dying? So, there's resentment within their relationship because the relationship has never been healthy. And then he mentions how he felt away on Christmas when she told him that he had done too much for his kids. And it hurt him because he says, I remember growing up, you didn't give me a damn thing. You would be wrapping presents for the cousins and wouldn't get anything for me. And I'm like, that's because she saw you as her man and not as her child. Which is so weird to me because even, you supposed to give Christmas presents for your man, bitch. What's going on? Now, how you ain't get your own son shit? That's crazy. So he felt a way about that. And she realized the error in her ways. But, she apologized to him and said how much she loved him, but how she did the best she could with what she had. And she wasn't given a lot. She didn't have a mother. She didn't have anybody to teach her how to do the most important thing that she was going to do in her life, which is be Mark's mama. I mean, tell me something else. And them baby's grandmama. Like, at the end of the day, it's the only thing that matters in this moment, and that will matter until the day you die, is the relationship that you have with your offspring. And I think that it's never too late to fix it. But I think a lot of damage has been done because as Cool as Miss Dorothy came off in this episode, that lady got a vitriol, that lady got an anger, that lady got a messiness and a nastiness about herself. You know what I'm saying? When they talked about the stuff that she had said about Jaden, so Jaden and Ashley talked to Iyanla about Mark Jr.'s suffering. Let's start there. I don't want to jump ahead, y'all, okay? And Jaden felt for him, and she's trying to deal with the situation. And then Ashley explains that Lil Mark felt abandoned by Ashley. And she felt abandoned by, you know, her mom being a drug addict and then her daddy not being there when they were starving and shit, you know. Ashley talks to her dad about being molested. All of the girl children had been molested, from what I understand, at a young age. And y'all, this is really when I was crying. Ashley explained that when she would get molested, it happened at parties that they would have at the house. So she can hear everybody outside partying, including her daddy, drinking and having a good time, while somebody was inside taking advantage of her. And she said it was very hard for him to deal with that. And I'm like, I can imagine. Because you think your daughter is safe because you right here. But the truth of the matter is somebody is taking that opportunity to do something to your child. Child, when I tell y'all my daddy wouldn't let, you know, me go nowhere. And I feel like even when we did have parties and all of that, nah, at some point we doing a roundabout in this bitch to see where everybody at. Okay. Especially my child at my house, we'll party with a whole bunch of people. Every about 30 minutes or 45 minutes, I'm going to walk around or at least make sure I have put my eyes on my child at this party. That's how I felt. Because we used to have big parties at our house all the time. They were called bazaars. It was my birthday party mixed with my parent, my godfather's birthday. We shared a backyard. So for our birthday every year, it was a huge party on both sides of the backyard, our side and their side. Whole bunch of food cooking. People from the neighborhood would come. Like, it was a whole situation. I don't ever remember somebody keeping their eyes off me long enough for some shit like that to happen. I'm also the child that you don't do that to, because I'd have said something. I understood my part was crazy, but I also understood that he was my protector. And if anybody did something to me, that was the first person that I was supposed to go and tell, especially something like that. And I think people know what children to do that shit to, I think. And I think that they know when you're going to be the little girl. They're like, because my grandma told me, my auntie told me, my mama told me, like, everybody told me, you better say something. Everybody, that was instilled in us. Say something. Okay. And when I tell you can go nowhere, you can go nowhere. Oh, Lord. But yes, Ashley talked about her experience talking to her father about that and what happened. And it was just very hard to listen to, because I couldn't imagine from both standpoints, hearing your daddy right there and him not being able to save you, and then knowing that she needed you and you had no idea. Like, y'all, that's a hard pill to swallow. So they bring in Jamil and Dorothy, because we got to talk about Jaden's molestation as well. Hers happened at the grandmother's house. And Iyanla asked Jaden, why didn't you tell your grandmother what happened? And she said, because she had already called me a fast tail girl and said that I was fast and I was going to get pregnant early. And, you know, it made me think about all the time somebody told me that, y'all. Like, I was told I was fast at such a young age for no reason at all. And now that I'm an adult and older, if somebody ever says that to my child, I will probably lose my shit. Do not put that fucked up energy on my child. It creates an anxiety inside you, because you don't know what you're doing as a child, but people are constantly imposing on you to handle yourself in a way so that you are not attractive to grown-ass men. Telling me I'm fast when I'm like 12, 13, what was that supposed to do for me? Y'all didn't tell them boys they was fast. Y'all told us we was fast. Like, girls who had never kissed a boy, girls who had never had sex with a boy, Girls who had never, got fingered or nothing like that were told that they were fast because they were smart, or because they asserted themselves, or because of a skirt size, or because some old nasty ass man was paying attention to them in a way that he shouldn't have. Now all of a sudden the little girl is responsible for her sexuality in every space that she's in. She is reminded that she has to show up in a certain way, because if not, she's gonna be a fast ass little girl. Y'all, it is exhausting. And it is one of the most hurtful things that I heard throughout my life. Because, like I said, I had a daddy, bitch. Like, I was not fast. I was not fast. But people liked me, and I was a people person, and I was talkative, and I had a personality, and I was smart. People really translate outgoingness to fastness with girls. It is insane to me and so unhealthy. Please stop it. Anyway, child, Dorothy apologized for it, but Jaden is still not in a space where she can receive it yet. She's still hurt because it's years of being hurt. She says that Dorothy was talking bad, just saying bad shit in general about her mom in front of her. So like most little girls would do, she went and told her mom. Her mom confronted Dorothy. Dorothy goes to everybody in the family and blames Jaden for talking too much. Jaden is a little ass girl. Jaden should not be made responsible for the fact that you don't have enough couth to not talk about her mom in front of her, because you have an unhealthy relationship and attachment to your son because you could not afford to take care of him by yourself. And y'all wonder why people say all the time, don't be out here just having kids willy-nilly if you can't support them or take care of them. Because this is what y'all do to little man at 5 years old. The fuck? He is a boy. He is a child. And y'all address young boys as if they're supposed to be men when they're 6 because you can't seem to handle all of this by yourself. Like, the fuck? I'm sorry, y'all. That's also annoying to me. I don't care what y'all say. But yeah, this episode touched on so many pathologies that Black people be having, child. Mark and Jamil talk about him beating up that dude nearly to damn death when he was 14, and how that started his whole, realizing that violence is how I take care of my family, basically. And Jamil says she realized he's been broken for a long time, and because of that, she accommodated his bad behavior. And y'all, I think that's so funny because I think women do that all the time. Like, she might have thought that she noticed something in him that, he's broken or he's hurt just like I'm hurt and I need to be there to support him. That's what she thought. Iyanla explains what was really happening is you got with an old ass nigga that had a savior complex that set his relationships up in a way where he needed to come in and save the woman. The other 2 baby mamas on drugs. You ended up pregnant at a young age. He gonna marry you. He gonna save you. And then in return, you will never leave him. And you will be the girl that he was able to raise up, because men love to do that. In order for men to feel like powerful, I guess, I don't know what that's about. A lot of them, and not most, I'm not gonna say most of all, but a lot of them like to get girls young so that they can have the girl's mind fixed. And here's the thing, everybody's not gonna be Rashida. No disrespect, Rashida, but you were that girl, and Kirk did a great number on you. He did a great number on you. Because the truth of the matter is, I almost feel like her relationship with that nigga was her downfall. Because Rashida did have that Young Miami thing where she has the type of voice that plays good on Southern records. People like it. But with the mistake you made, I feel like was tying yourself down to Kirk at 19. And then as you're growing into the woman that you're supposed to be, because you're becoming a fucking adult, he's having a hard time with that. and then he's cheating and then having kids on you. And then you never get in a space where you feel like you're going to separate yourself so that you can be your own woman for 5 minutes, because now he's already gotten in your head that this is base level your life. I have to be with Kirk no matter what. I hate to use Rashida as an example, baby, but that's the first thing I thought about when I think about younger girls that get with older men, so those older men can feel like they train some young girl to stick with them and deal with their bullshit no matter what. Because that's basically what it is. However, I do believe a lot of women at some point will leave anyway. Even if you think you train them up, eventually when they get to a certain age and they realize, motherfucker, I don't need a training, bro. I'm a grown ass woman. This nigga got me fucked up. And then, you know, we get divorces or we break up or the relationships go through a shift and, you know, or you Karen and Ray it, you got to figure it the fuck out. But ultimately, you know, those older men, younger women relationships always work out a certain way, which is why it's so aggravating when they was comparing like Jada and August Alsina situation, because it's like, are y'all really going to act like the way men deal with younger women is the same as the way older women deal with younger men? It's not the same, but okay. Jamel needs to find herself at this point. And Mark needs to learn how to handle his emotions and listen in a way that is not violent. Lil Mark needs rehab. And they express that, you know, they need to talk to Lil Mark about that. So they talk to him. Jaden talks to him, but Jordan won't talk to him. I was like, Jordan is still mad. Mark says that he's going to change. And Jamil asks for the forgiveness from Lil Mark for not being the stepmother that he should have had. And what I mean by that, y'all, is that, like that little boy said, she came into our life. I didn't come into hers. Adults often feel like they are omnipotent, so they deserve so much respect and so much you know, allowance because they're in the space. But the truth of the matter is that man should have never married that woman without his children being involved with her, knowing her being around before. Like, to me, marrying her and then pushing her into the household and forcing your children to just have to deal with the shit without real conversation, without real understanding for the shift in dynamic and what that felt like for them, that shit was unfair. That was unfair. I'm glad that Jamil apologized, but I also feel like I don't know how anybody was going to expect her young ass to be the stepmother that she really needed to be. Okay. I know, love, but this review is running late. I didn't expect Iyanla to be 2 hours. I'm almost done. Okay. I'll be with y'all in a moment. So yes, Jamil asked for forgiveness for not being what he needed at the time, and then she expresses that she wants him to go to rehab, or not rehab, but you know, go to meetings and deal with the alcoholism that is plaguing the whole damn family. Okay, and the daddy says he will do the same, but everybody needs to be willing. Everybody needs to learn how to forgive, value the relationships, and learn how to let shit go. They don't know how to let shit go as a family. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't think Jamil was ready to be a mother either. But this was a really good episode, y'all. I have to say, I think that Iyanla did the best she could, but this is, like she said, years and years and years of toxicity and bad habits just in life and in general, with the way you live and the way you handle each other. You know, I feel like that's why there always needs to be boundaries. There always needs to be shit that you don't say because it's too fucked up. There also always need to be things that you don't do to your children because, you know, you don't need to fight your children like they're a nigga off the street, as we like to say. You know what I'm saying? But a really good episode to make you be reflective about your own situation. It's definitely a lot like my own family. I have to say that. You know what I mean? But I think, you know, child, some things you just never can resolve. And that's unfortunate. But it is what it is. That's why you got to just let shit go sometimes for your own betterment, because everybody isn't going to always show up the way you need them to. And as an adult, you have to learn how to be okay with that. You know what I'm saying? Because Lil Jordan, I feel like it's going to be hard to break through. And then they really need to try, because otherwise, child, ain't nobody gonna want to deal with Jordan. Ain't nobody gonna want to deal with Jordan, y'all. Jordan's energy is so tiring to me. Like that anger mixed with indifference is too much. I've been around people like that before, and my energy mixed with their energy is stab, stab, stab. So, anyway, that was Iyanla, y'all. Let me go over here to Real Housewives of Atlanta where they waiting on me. Okay, I'll see y'all over there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Okay, I know most of y'all going over there, so I'll see y'all.